Hi, Unbeatable Recapped here. Today, I am going to explain a suspense thriller movie, named, The Scorpion King. So let's begin without wasting any time. It is told at the beginning of the story, that it is the time of 1,000 years ago. The time when Egypt's pyramids had not been built. The people of this place used to live in the form of tribes. At that time, a tribe arrived there. The king of that tribe was Memnon. He attacked all tribes one by one and later dominated that place. And the cause of his victory was a wizardess. Because she used to inform Memnon about his defeat or victory, forecasting before. Then Memnon used to make his schemes accordingly. There were a few independent tribes which had left there. And those tribes were not willing to confront Memnon. And that wizardess was also the cause of their unwillingness for war. Because they know that she will tell Memnon everything while predicting with her magic. There was also one of the kings of the tribes, who was willing to fight with Memnon. So they call 3 killers of the threatening tribe at that place. The matter of fact was that these killers' whole tribe was ended. They had left only 3. And they were the assassins from their childhood. The boldest among them, and who is also the protagonist of the movie, his name is Matthias. The king tells them that it is your task that you have to kill the wizardess. The king awards them 20 precious stones. And these 20 precious stones were the last wealth of their treasure. Then Matthias says to the king, "Your order will be carried out." But the king's son was not satisfied with his father's decision. Next morning, Matthias reached that place along with his companion and brother, where King Memnon had stayed. Then 3 of them begin to search for the wizardess. Before it, they get access to the sorceress. Memnon's soldiers catch their sight and they begin to shoot the arrows on them. Matthias's companion is ended at the spot. And his brother is made a captive. But Matthias reaches the camp of sorcerers. As he is going to shoot the arrow to the sorcerer, then she tells Matthias, "You have been deceived." Before it, he gets the ability to end sorcerer. Memnon's soldiers arrive there. Capturing Matthias, they take him to the king Memnon. The king's son had also approached there. Actually, the king's son had come here for this reason, because he had slayed his father. Now he has become the partner of Memnon. He was the son of that king who had dispatched Matthias and his men here to end sorcerer. Memnon kills Matthias' brother in front of his eyes. After this, he is going to end Matthias. But the sorcerer stops Memnon. And she says to him, "If you end him, then we will face dire consequences. And we will lose everything that we have won. Because I have known about it. And he is one of the virtuous people of God. It means that God is very kind to him." So Memnon agrees with the wizardess. It means that he does not take the life of Matthias. But they bury Matthias and one thief under the mound of earth to punish them. Now Matthias has no awareness about this thief. There were many threatening bugs around them which were preceding them. Now these bugs were enough threatening that they could turn the flesh of man into the skeleton after eating. But that thief succeeded in freeing himself. And he also rescues Matthias, taking him out of that place. Now Matthias wants to take the revenge of his brother and partner. So he moves to the thief's kingdom along with him. After this, Memnon comes on the scene, who also wishes to occupy the remaining kingdom. But the sorceress forbids him from doing so. She advises, "Peace cannot be attained by war." Memnon expresses his wish that "I want to be a king of the whole world. And I will marry you after becoming a king." But the sorceress says to him, "If I build any relationship with you, so my ability of forecasting along with other powers will be ended." Memnon says, "I may get everything at once. After this, any type of power will not be required of us." Now Matthias and that thief both enter that kingdom, where Memnon used to stay. A child runs away, grabbing the precious stones of Matthias. But Matthias catches that child. That child was the native, so he has awareness of each corner of that place. So Matthias asks him the way that leads to Memnon's palace. Then the child takes him into the palace, where they meet with an old man, who used to manufacture gunpowder. Now this old man also had the dislike for Memnon, because Memnon's attitude was not too good with him. He wants that he may use this gunpowder against Memnon after manufacturing. Then Matthias asks that old man, where will be Memnon at this time? That gunpowder manufacturer tells him on it, Memnon will be practicing his swordsmanship right now. Then this child leads Matthias to that place. But Matthias awards that child a precious stone before going upward. And Matthias says to him, keep it. It is your reward. Climbing up, he begins to target Memnon. But Memnon's soldiers take that child to him before Matthias shoots his arrow at him. Because he had that precious stone. It was the same stone given by Matthias to him. Then Memnon's soldiers begin to dismember that child's hand. So Matthias has to target that weapon unwillingly, leaving Memnon, with which that child's hand was being dismembered. Memnon's soldiers glimpse Matthias. And they begin to shoot their arrows at him. Then Matthias comes into a room to secure his life, where that sorcerer was sitting there. Now Matthias takes that sorceress out of the palace forcefully, because he knew that Memnon will surely visit out of the place to search out that wizardess. Matthias will end him as he comes outside. He will also end wizardess after killing Memnon. After this, they move to the Valley of Dead People, when they are sleeping at night. Then the sorceress tries to escape from there. Then Matthias gets his fact and he captures the sorceress. And he asks the wizardess, do you want to return to Memnon? That wizardess tells him, Memnon had imprisoned me from my childhood. Then Matthias tells, when I had come to the palace that day. Why had you saved my life? The sorceress says on it, because I had known that it is you who will be able to bring me out of this palace. After this Matthias releases her. And he says that it is now up to you. You may leave if you want. But the outer world is more threatening than me. Then the sorceress stops there. And she does not go. Next morning, they proceed with their journey. Then Matthias observes that Memnon did not come himself, he has rather sent his soldiers who were a little distance from them. Then Matthias alone moves to them to fight with them. Actually, Matthias has knowledge that there is going to break out a storm in the desert. So he covers himself to protect his eyes from sand. When he reaches those soldiers, then a big storm breaks out in the desert. Due to this, Memnon's soldiers' eyes were dazzling. Getting the advantage of it, Matthias ends them one by one. The man that is the special attendant of Memnon, he has been given an arrow by Memnon which was poisoned with scorpion sting. He shoots that arrow on the foot of Matthias before dying. Due to this, Matthias's whole body is poisoned. But sorceress removes all poison from his body through sorcery. Due to this, Matthias's life is secured. Matthias sends this message to Memnon through a bird, that your all soldiers have been killed. But Memnon tells a lie here to his companions. That Matthias has become the victim in that battle. Memnon's partners were asking about the sorceress time and again. Memnon also tells a lie here that sorceress is not in a good condition in reality. And the sorceress is still in the palace. Because he knew if they knew about it, that sorceress is not in the palace, then they will be discouraged. On the other side, Matthias, sorceress and the thief who was with them, they are wandering in the desert in search of the water. Suddenly there is an explosion. When they check it, they find the same gunpowder manufacturer old man. Now he has made the explosive. Actually he had also reached here, escaping from the palace. And he is excited, noticing wizardess here. Then they move forward in search of the water. And they also get the water at a place. At the same time, many soldiers arrive there. And they take them away, making them captive. Where a great tribe is living, hiding itself from Memnon's army. And the master of this tribe had already knowledge about Matthias. But Matthias and that leader of the tribe had no positive thoughts for each other. The master of the tribe says to his soldiers that, bring sorceress to me. Then Matthias says to them, who came near her, he has to face me. Now a fight is held between the tribe's leader and Matthias. But Matthias defeats him in spite of the bravery of the tribe's leader. Matthias conveys to the master of the tribe, our enemy is the same Memnon. We should fight against him collaboratively. Then the master of the tribe says, who will fight his great army? Matthias responds, I will fight. The leader of the tribe consents to them to live in their tribe. When a child appears to the wizardess at night, Then sorceress visualizes something. In which she visualizes that Memnon's soldiers have attacked here. And they have ruined their whole tribe. And they have also victimized many innocent people. So the sorceress moves to Matthias and she reveals to him what she had visualized. Matthias says to her that I am destined to end Memnon. I will surely end him. Then the sorceress visualizes again. She visualizes that a soldier has targeted a soldier with an arrow. So Matthias is wounded and he is taking his last breaths. When sorceress comes into her consciousness, then she tells Matthias that you will become the victim. It is your fate. But Matthias says to her, I write my fate myself. Afterwards, they build a relationship. As the sorceress had told her, her all powers will disappear if she builds a relationship with anyone. In this way, her powers have disappeared. Then she also moves to the palace of Memnon covertly in the darkness of night. Because she didn't want that, the innocent tribesmen of this clan may become the victim because of her. Next morning, when Matthias comes to know about it, then he begins to move alone to the palace of Memnon. Because he did not want that sorceress may become captive, going there one more time. The leader of the tribe says to Matthias here that, we will also assist you in this matter. Then the view of Memnon's palace is shown. Where Memnon's soldiers are asking about sorceresses again and again. Because they had to attack on the coming day. But Memnon is dumb on their query. Meanwhile, the sorceress approaches there. And she tells all that we will be victorious in the battle of tomorrow. Enemies themselves will approach here. Now Memnon suspects the sorceress here. That she had lost her powers. So he brings the 6 pitchers before the sorceress to check it. There are the snakes in 4 pitchers among them while 2 are free from them. The sorceress will have to put her hand in that pitcher, which has no snake. On the other side, it is shown that Matthias and his companions enter the kingdom of Memnon in the darkness of night. And the gunpowder manufactured by that old man is set before the front part of the palace with the help of the thief. On the other side, Memnon was taking a trial of sorceress in the palace. Then the sorceress puts her hand into that pitcher where the presence of the snake is sure. And she takes the snake out from that pitcher. Which does not sting her. The sorceress says to Memnon, that you are a cruel and self-obsessed king. Hearing it, Memnon gets aggressive. But Matthias approaches there before he may victimize the sorceress. Now Matthias and Memnon are in front of each other. Then the fight starts between them. It is shown outside that the leader of the tribe ends the son of the king. He was the same who had become the companion of Memnon after killing his father. He also begins to end the other soldiers of Memnon at the same time. Matthias throws the ashes into the eyes of Memnon during a fight with him. At the same time, an arrow shooter reaches there. Sorceress witnesses him. Now the sorceress wants to come before Matthias to guard him. So she may be targeted by an arrow. Seeing it, Matthias turns himself, catching the sorceress. And Matthias's back is targeted by the arrow. It was the same moment which had been visualized by the sorceress. Then the arrow shooter moves towards Matthias to end him. But the sorceress kills him. Now Matthias was badly injured. And he lifts an arrow bow. And the stuck arrow in his back, he pulls it out. And he makes Memnon a target with this ranged weapon. Now Memnon used to stop such arrows with the help of his sword. At this time, he also attempts to stop the arrow. But Memnon remains unable to stop the arrow with his swords because of its shooting speed. And his body is targeted with the arrow. And he begins to fall down. At the exact time, that thief, he inflames the explosives. Due to this, it creates a great explosion. Memnon, who was falling down from the high walls of the palace, he is burnt, falling into that fire. And he is turned into ashes. Now Memnon has met his destiny here. Matthias is crowned in this kingdom after the ending of Memnon. Afterwards, the master of the tribe leaves, saying farewell to Matthias after coming there. After this, the sorceress says to Matthias that, there will be peace and serenity in our kingdom now. Matthias says, I knew that your powers vanished after building a relationship with me, is it true? Then the sorceress says, no. It was all a lie. My powers are still stable. Matthias asks, how much time will the peace and serenity continue in our kingdom? The sorceress says on it, everything is mortal. Kingdom has also its end like all other things. Matthias says to her, I told you that I would write my destiny myself. So I will write about the fate of the kingdom. The movie completes this scene. Thanks for watching.